So a little while ago I made a video showing off my CD collection, and since then I've also been kind of starting to collect DVDs a bit more, so I wanted to make a video showing off my DVD collection as well. Most of this is horror, but I don't know, I just thought it would be fun to show them as well. First up, I've got the newest, most latest It movies, It Chapter 1 and It Chapter 2. It's the two film collection. We've got the 2017 and 2019 one. There's also some bonus stuff. So this one has deleted scenes in it. I'm just gonna show how it looks like. I don't know, why not? Yeah, this one has quite a few deleted scenes. And then It Chapter 2. So I'm just gonna show that. It Chapter 2 also has like behind the scenes stuff. I really wanted to I was basically in a store looking specifically for DVDs, and I wanted to get these because I actually really like both the It movies. I know a lot of people don't like the second one. I've heard that very frequently. I personally love the second one. I honestly kind of prefer the second one over the first one. I think they're both like pretty good. I will say I recently rewatched them, and I feel like I remember them being a little bit better than they were. But I still had a fun time rewatching them, and so the reason I would say that I prefer the second one is because I feel like the characters are a bit more explored and fleshed out, so I enjoy that. I enjoy the characters. I don't mind the ending. I know a lot of people hate the ending. I don't really mind it. I just like seeing the friendship of all the characters and them interacting and everything. I think it's just really fun to watch, so that's like a big bonus to me for both of these movies. I will admit I haven't read the book. I would like to. I have at some point. I do need to read more Stephen King books. I haven't really read too many of his books. I've read like 5, I think. Next up, I've got a DVD of The Hitcher. So this is the one this is the original one from the 1980s. I think it was 1986. There is also a remake from the early 2000s. I actually haven't seen that one, but I absolutely love this movie. I think it's just really incredible. So this one actually has two. Oh my god, this one actually has 2 DVDs, as you can see. So one of them is the movie, and the other one has a lot of behind the scenes stuff and like extra features. There's like, I don't know if you would be able to see that here, but it basically the bonus material as like teaser, trailer, screenplay samples, a documentary, and like 2 short films, and then the first DVD obviously has the movie and also audio commentary, which I actually haven't listened to the audio commentary for this one yet, but I really should, because I think this movie's incredible. If you haven't seen The Hitcher, I highly recommend it. The way I would describe it is it kind of feels like you're watching like a nightmare that you just can't really wake up from. And I find I really enjoy movies like that, because I would say the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre has that kind of vibe as well, and so does this. They're not really like super similar. Well, they're kind of similar movies actually in a way, and I would say both of them really have this sort of like atmosphere where everything feels kind of dreamlike, kind of nightmare-like, and so it's not quite like 100% realistic, I would almost say. They don't feel like 100% realistic in our reality movies, but they just have that kind of scary, creepy nightmare atmosphere, and I really, really enjoy that, and I think The Hitcher does it brilliantly. Also, like the main characters they just have a very interesting dynamic as well. I recommend it. Also, kind of gay. I will say that. Alright, next up, I've got the Scream trilogy. So these are the first 3 only. So, Scream 1. I guess there's not much to show for the DVDs, but I still just want to show them. So, Scream 2. There's the DVD. And Scream 3. And there's the DVD. This box set also does come with some like extra features as well. There's audio commentary and like behind the scenes stuff for pretty much all of them. Yeah, all of them have like extra features, all 3 of them. So I think that's really cool. I love Scream, especially the first one is one of my favorite movies of all time. I rewatch it a lot, and I absolutely like love that movie. I absolutely adore Scream. So I love being able to own it on DVD. I honestly like do think that all of the first 3 are like pretty good. I know a lot of people don't like Scream 3, and I get why. I will say, on a rewatch, like when I first watched the Scream movies, so when I first watched them, there were only the first 4, and I also didn't like 3 that much, but I recently, about last year, I think, I rewatched the first 4, and I will say I think I liked 3 a little bit better on a rewatch. The killer reveal is still very stupid. A lot of people complain about that, and they're not wrong. It is not a good reveal. There's a lot of things in Scream 3 that don't really make sense, that don't really work, but I think there's also some like genuinely interesting commentary about Hollywood, and I still really liked all of the characters, obviously, as well. And I will say, like, I still really enjoyed 3. I enjoyed it maybe less than, especially the first one, because I think the first one's like a perfect movie, pretty much. But I still had a good time with the third one. So I would say, if you don't like it, maybe give it a little while and then rewatch it. Your feelings might change. You know, you might see it a little bit better on a rewatch. I actually haven't seen Scream 7. I've seen 5 and 6, but I will admit I didn't like either of them that much. I thought 5 was like pretty bad. I was quite disappointed. 6, I would say I thought was a little bit more fun, but I don't know. I didn't really like either of them that much. When 7 came out, I kind of felt like I was already over all of these sequels, especially with them firing the main actress just for being in support of Palestine. I think that's another thing that I just think is really messed up. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe at some point I'll watch 7, but probably not anytime soon. And I've heard that they're making an 8th one, which I think is kind of crazy. I kind of just wish they would let the franchise die at this point, honestly. I love Scream, but I really don't want more sequels. Okay, next up I'm going to show a rare non-horror film. I've got Debs. So this is like a really fun, campy, like, I can't call it a rom-com. It's not really a rom-com necessarily, but it's like a fun lesbian movie, kind of a comedy. It's really enjoyable. I remember like I kind of avoided it for a little while because I was like kind of scared that it was gonna be very sexualized because of, you know, how the girls look and stuff on the cover. So I avoided it for a while, and then I finally watched it like I think a year or so ago, and I really had such a great time. It's a very fun movie. It's very silly. It's very campy. I just had such a great time. Like, I highly recommend it. It's like a spy movie. Spy movie. They don't really do a lot of spy stuff, but that's like the basis of everything. It's like the main characters are pretty much like kind of like spies. And then one of them falls in love with like a super villain, and it's as I said, it's silly, it's campy, it's fun. I really enjoy it, so I really wanted to get it on DVD as well, and so I'm really glad I did. Okay, next up I've got the Final Destination collection. So this has the first 5 Final Destination movies. I don't have, sorry, I'm just gonna go to the Final Destination. So I don't have Final Destination 6, Bloodlines, but I would like to get it on DVD. It was just when I was looking to buy Final Destination, I did initially want to buy like all of them, like a 6 DVD box set, but I found that it was a lot more expensive than just buying this one and then just getting Bloodlines like separately. But I haven't gotten Bloodlines separately yet, but I do want to, because I really like Bloodlines, and I also really enjoy Final Destination movies in general. I would say that they're one of my favorite, like, Final Destination is one of my favorite horror franchises, and all of the movies except for 4 are good. Some of them are definitely better than others, but pretty much the only one that I don't really revisit is 4. Yeah, unfortunately, as far as I know, this doesn't really have a lot of extra features, which, you know, would be nice. I like when there's extra features, but at least the thing that I think is like fun. One of the things that's pretty well known about Free is that it has this like choose their fate type game, and this one does actually have it, which, so that's really cool. And it's basically like, you can, if you select the choose your fate thing, you can watch the movie as is, but then on some scenes you kind of get a choice on like what to do, and then you get like alternative scenes in the movie, and it doesn't change the whole plot or anything. The scene changes are mostly kind of on the smaller side. I just think it's fun. It's a fun idea. Next up, I've got Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I love this movie. It is a horror comedy from the 80s, and it's really fun. It's very, very silly, and it has like, I don't know, it's sort of, I will say it doesn't necessarily try to explain much about the killer clowns to you, but it doesn't really need to, I think. It's just fun to watch, and it has a ton of practical effects. Like, the clowns and everything are practical, and they look amazing. They look genuinely incredible. Like, I highly recommend watching it at the very least for that. I have heard for like years now that they're planning on doing a sequel, but we've never actually gotten a sequel, so I don't know if we'll ever get one, but I would welcome one, as long as it still has practical effects and keeps its humor as is and doesn't try to. I would honestly prefer it if the humor, if they ever do a sequel or a reboot or anything with Killer Clowns, I would prefer it if the humor stayed as it is in the original movie and wouldn't try to almost update it, because I think they kind of nailed it. Honestly, they kind of nailed it with this one. Next up, I've got Nightmare on Elm Street collection. So this has 8 DVDs inside. So as you can see here, and basically these have movies. It's from the first one until Wes Craven's New Nightmare, and then the 8th one is a documentary and stuff like that. It's basically just behind the scenes stuff. In the 8th one, I actually haven't played it yet, but I should. But yeah, it's got all from 1 to New Nightmare. It doesn't have Freddy vs. Jason or the remake, which I'm not complaining about it not having the remake, because the remake is terrible. But I do kind of enjoy Freddy vs. Jason. I feel like Freddy vs. Jason is one of those movies where it's not that good of a movie, but it's almost like a guilty pleasure in a way, because it's bad, and a lot of the things about it are bad. But at the end of the day, it's still kind of fun to watch. In ways, it almost feels like it's so bad that it's good. So I don't know, I quite enjoy it for that. Before I got this box set, I hadn't seen all of the Nightmare movies. I had seen 1 to 4 and then New Nightmare and Freddy vs. Jason and the remake, but I hadn't seen 5 and 6. So that's The Dream Child and Freddy's Dead: The Final Nightmare. But after getting this, I did like a full rewatch. I rewatched the first ones, and then I finally watched 5 and 6. 6 was terrible. 6 was pretty bad. 5, from what I remember, was just not that interesting. But 6 was like really bad. I really like Wes Craven movies. I think when it comes to horror, he's probably my favorite movie director. I think he, like, obviously he made a lot of very iconic movies. I mean, there's Nightmare on Elm Street, there's Scream, there's The Hills Have Eyes. And, you know, I really like his style of filmmaking. So I'm glad to be able to own like the DVDs of his movies, especially multiple ones. So okay. Next up, I've got a DVD of Sinners. There we go. Sinners. So this unfortunately doesn't have any extra features. It is just the movie. I would be interested to... I've seen some clips, some behind the scenes clips online of Sinners, and I do kind of wish that there was more on the DVD, but this movie is incredible. I know that everyone has said this at this point, because it won, like, it was nominated for and won a lot of Oscars, so, and obviously it was a very successful movie, so I know that this isn't, you know, I am basically saying the popular opinion. This movie is incredible. I watched it in cinemas when it came out, and I had just such a great experience watching it. So if you haven't seen it, I would say it is genuinely a great movie. Like, it is hyped up and well loved for a reason. Also, for a more recent one, I've got the 2024 Nosferatu. So Nosferatu. This one has an extended cut and theatrical version of the movie, some deleted scenes, and also commentary, which I need to listen to. I actually haven't rewatched this movie yet. I watched this in cinema, in the cinema, and I thought it was really good. I thought it was really fascinating. I really like the director's style of filmmaking a lot. I really liked Nosferatu. I had a really good time watching it in the cinema. Well, there was one person, okay, this is completely unrelated to the movie. There was one person in the cinema when I was watching Nosferatu who was on their phone, like, pretty much the entire movie. And I am kind of an anxious person, but even I, like, had to just ask that person to stop, because it was really fucking distracting. So it would have been nice if that didn't happen, but I like the style of this movie a lot. I like the visuals a lot. I like the way it was told and everything, so I thought this was a great movie. And yeah, I highly recommend it if you haven't seen it. One thing that I thought was really fun, so my cinema, about 2 weeks or a week or so before Nosferatu, this one, was released, my cinema actually showed, for one night, they showed the original Nosferatu from 1922. So I went to see that, and I felt like, I just thought it was really interesting to be able to see the original and then the remake, and sort of also know how filmmaking has changed, because the original 1922 one is a silent movie, right? And so it was just interesting to see how in only about 100 years, how everything has changed, how, like, acting has changed, how the way we tell stories in film has changed, and yeah, it was a really fun experience. I was honestly, like, I would kind of recommend it, like, watch the original Nosferatu and then watch this one. It's a pretty good time. Next up, I've got Cat People, the 1942 one. From what I've heard, there is a remake in, I think it was the 80s. I haven't seen it. I've heard things about it that make me not really want to watch it. But the original Cat People, so this one is in, the DVD is German, as you will have noticed, because I couldn't get it in, well, I think from when I searched online, I couldn't, if I wanted the DVD to be in English, it would be a lot pricier. So I got it in German, but it does still have the original. I can still watch it in English. So it's not like it's not like the whole movie's in German as well. It's just it came like with a booklet as well, and that whole thing is in German as well. I don't know German very well. I know a little bit, but not enough to understand all of this. I think that at some point I will still try to see if I can translate it and read what the booklet says. And this does also have some extra features, so that's fun too. I'll have to see if I don't think that all of those would be in English, but I think some of this should be. Anyway, so this movie is from the 1940s, and it's basically, in a very simple way, it's about this character named Irina who is scared to be intimate with her husband because she is convinced that if she will turn into a cat and kill him. Because where she's from, there's like a legend that there's a legend about, like, you know, women who turn into cats and kill their husbands. And like I feel like, kind of in a way, that plot sounds a little bit silly, but this movie is incredible. It's really sad. Like, it's very much like a tragic movie, and I felt really connected to Irina, like, as I watched it. I was genuinely so sad for her, and I think this movie is gorgeous. The lighting in this movie, incredible. Honestly, I wish that we still lit movies well, because sometimes that's like one of the things that's really annoying about being a horror movie fan, is that modern day horror movies very often just don't have good lighting. It's like something takes place in the dark and you can't see anything, and it's really annoying. And then you watch something like this, which is from the 1940s, and it's like gorgeous lighting, absolutely amazing lighting. Why do we not still do that? Anyway, so my personal interpretation with the whole, you know, turning into a cat thing is that he's a lesbian. That's why she doesn't want to do anything. I feel like, you know, there's a lot out there to support that reading for this movie, and that's like a big reason why I find this movie to be so fascinating. I really recommend it if you enjoy older movies and you haven't seen Cat People, because this is, when it comes to older movies so far, this is one of my favorites. Continuing the older movie theme, I recently got Frankenstein and Bride of Frankenstein on DVD. So it's both. So these are from the 1930s. The first Frankenstein movie is from 1930, and then Bride of Frankenstein is 1945, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, this does also come with a little booklet as well. This one isn't in German, because I bought this when I was visiting the UK. A lot of the DVDs that I have are also secondhand. Not all of them, but a lot of them are secondhand, including this one. But yeah, Frankenstein and Bride of Frankenstein, I really enjoyed both of these movies. I watched them both a couple of years ago, and I really liked them, especially Bride of Frankenstein. I prefer Bride of Frankenstein to Frankenstein, because I think Bride of Frankenstein is a bit emotionally more interesting, and it's just one of those movies where it's just kind of sad. That's one thing I find very common with older horror films, like before the 60s. They're all quite sad, and I don't know, I like that, you know, but that's very frequent. They kind of just end badly. They're less scary. It's more like just watching a tragedy unfold. But yeah, this does also have special features. There's like commentary, and like, since this is an older movie, there's like a more modern sort of look back at it, you know. So there's stuff like that for both of them in this one, and yeah, I'm glad to be able to. I also just think there's something kind of cool of being able to own older movies on DVD, like, because when, you know, Bride of Frankenstein and Frankenstein were released, DVDs didn't even exist yet. So I like that I can own an older movie like that and just watch it whenever I want. Like I enjoy that, so I'm glad I got this. Next up, I've got The Faculty. This also does not have any special features. It is just the movie itself. But yeah, this is a movie from the 90s, and it's like a teen alien. Well, it's like a teen movie about like aliens invading. It's kind of like Invasion of the Body Snatchers, but if all of the characters were teenagers and the invasion started happening in a high school, in an American high school. And this movie is just fun. I will say maybe in some ways it's not really aged the best, but it is really fun to watch. And this is actually written by, if I'm not mistaken, it's written by Kevin Williamson, who also wrote Scream. So it's kind of like a post-Scream horror film, and so it kind of has that sort of similar humor, similar style, and I enjoy it. It's just a fun movie. Alright, next up I've got Blue Velvet. So this also has some special features. There are two DVDs here. It's the movie and then extra footage. This is a David Lynch movie, and shortly after David Lynch died, my cinema was like showing some of his movies, and I had already seen Mulholland Drive, so I didn't want to go see that, but I saw that they were showing Blue Velvet, which I had never watched before, so I decided to go see Blue Velvet. And I remember coming out of that movie theater and just thinking that this is the best movie I've ever seen. So I really wanted to have it on DVD because of that. I honestly feel like don't even really know how to describe it properly, which is not uncommon for David Lynch movies, honestly, but it's just, I don't know, something about the way it's told, about the style of it, it really gripped me, and I was just hooked throughout the whole thing. I thought this was just absolutely incredible. I do need to watch more David Lynch movies. As I said, I've also seen Mulholland Drive, and I have seen Eraserhead, but Eraserhead I watched quite a while ago. I feel like I should rewatch it, and I do need to watch more of his other movies, because I haven't seen a ton. I also need to finish Twin Peaks. So next up, I've got Paranorman on DVD. Paranorman is like, I would honestly kind of just describe it as like a horror film for kids almost. So this came out in 2012, I'm pretty sure, and I remember watching this movie in the cinema when it came out when I was 12 years old, 11 or 12 years old. I don't know, like, it's one of those movies, like, I remember really liking it at the cinema, and I rewatched it a lot as a kid, and I still like rewatching it every couple of years. I think it's like a genuinely good story. I like the way it's told, like the visual, I like the animation a lot, and it's very nostalgic for me. And as I said, I do think it's kind of like a horror movie for kids, because it's got some of those kinds of visuals, but it's not that scary. Also though, the ending, well, there's a scene towards the end that always makes me cry. No matter how many times I've seen this movie, I always start crying at one point, so there's that. But it's really good. It's a really good movie. I recommend it. Okay, I'm actually going to continue with the only other animated movie that I have, and that's Yu-Gi-Oh! The Dark Side of Dimensions. Now, listen. Actually, I'm gonna take the DVD out because I think this looks cool. I think this looks genuinely cool. I genuinely kind of love Yu-Gi-Oh! I know there's a lot of horror films, you wouldn't think so, but I grew up watching and playing Yu-Gi-Oh! When I was a kid, I watched the 4Kids English dub. That's the one I grew up with. And I watched it a lot. And I had a Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck. I still have it actually somewhere, but I had a Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck, and I remember playing Yu-Gi-Oh! With one of my brothers. And like, I swear we had one of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Mats. We don't have it anymore, but I swear we used to have it. And like, to me, Yu-Gi-Oh! is very nostalgic for that. You know, it's the thing that I like grew up watching a lot. And I played some of the video games as well. There's one that was like Power of Chaos, where you could fight either Yugi, Kaiba, or Joey. And I thought that was really fun. I played it so much as a kid. It's kind of one of those things where every couple of years I just get the urge to rewatch Yu-Gi-Oh! So I rewatched something of that. And in university, actually, me and one of my friends, we actually bonded with the fact that we, both liked Yu-Gi-Oh! A lot. So then we rewatched the entire thing, and we also watched Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, which I hadn't seen in full. I'd seen several episodes, but not all of them. And I just have a lot of like nostalgia and a lot of fond memories connected to Yu-Gi-Oh! And Dark Side of Dimensions is genuinely like a pretty good movie. I would say, like, if you like Yu-Gi-Oh! You will definitely like this movie. If you don't like Yu-Gi-Oh! You might not like it that much. I mean, it might be kind of confusing, but I think like this is a genuinely really good, really interesting movie, and the animation style is like so impressive. Like, I don't know, it's just such a good movie. Like, and it's just a joy to watch for me, because it's sort of like I put it on and it feels like for a little moment I'm just like a little kid again and experiencing the joys of watching Yu-Gi-Oh! Next up, I have The Loved Ones. I love this movie. I adore this movie. This is one of my favorite movies of all time. So this movie is, I will say right off the bat, it is not for everybody. It is a torture movie. And a lot of the times I don't really like a lot of torture movies. Sometimes I will watch a movie that is a torture movie and I won't like it because it feels like the only reason that it exists is because the filmmaker just wanted to shock the audience with some torture. Whilst other times there are other movies that have torture in them, but they also still feel like they're about more than that. And to me, like, The Loved Ones absolutely feels like there's more to it than just, hey, let's torture people, you know? It's extremely fucked up, but I enjoy it. I think it's also one of the rare horror films that genuinely like freaks me out and makes me uncomfortable. I really, really like this one. This one does also have extra features, which I'm really excited to rewatch it and then finally get to those. So this has interviews with the cast and director and also behind the scenes stuff, which I'm really excited about because I remember when I first watched this movie a couple of years back, I couldn't find any extra stuff online, or I think I found like an interview and that was it. I couldn't find much, but I think this movie's fascinating, so I'm excited. Then I've got Weapons, also came out recently. This is just the movie, it doesn't have any extra features. I really enjoyed this movie. I watched it in the cinema and I thought it was really interesting, and it was really interesting and really fun. I really liked the ending and I liked sort of trying to figure out, like with the characters, trying to figure out what happened and what all of this is about. It's a very interesting and very unique movie and I really enjoyed it. It's like, the very basic description, if you haven't seen or heard of it, is that one night a bunch of kids just run out of their home from one classroom, and it's all except one kid that has just disappeared. And so it's sort of like you know, the movies. So it's kind of like, oh, what happened to the kids, like why is it just them, and sort of the aftermath of what the parents have experienced and teachers and stuff. And it's really good. It's really good. It shows multiple perspectives, which I liked. So next up, I've got The Vampire Lovers. So this is a movie from 1970, and I really enjoy this movie. I think it's so good. I think it's like, I will say, I just like lesbian movies and I like lesbian horror films, and this is both. This is lesbian vampires, and I love that. It's a adaptation of Carmilla, but I think it's like, I don't know how accurate of an adaptation it is. I actually haven't read the book. I should. I do want to. I do plan on doing it, on reading it. But this movie is visually just so stunning. It has a lot of like gothic visuals, and I really enjoy that. There's also like a lot of fog and everything, which I always love in a horror film. You know, put a bunch of fog in there and I will probably like your movie more. Because I remember when I watched the original Wolfman movie, I honestly felt the same way. Like, there's some visuals of like quite a lot of fog, and I think it looked absolutely gorgeous. I enjoyed it just for the stunning visuals. This one does also have some extra features. There's a bit of a documentary and some audio commentary and stuff. So, because, yeah, I do actually need to watch more Hammer horror movies, because they were, like, there's a lot of pretty well-known ones from a lot of years, and I've only seen 2, so I need to watch more. And finally, I'm going to show you my entire Saw DVD collection. Now, unfortunately, this is not every Saw movie, but I do plan on getting every Saw movie. I actually, you know what, we'll get to that. First, I will show you Saw 1. So this is the uncut version. This does have some bonus features, but not many, unfortunately, and all of them seem to be mostly related to the music video. It has music video, unrated version of the music video, and the making of the music video, and then a mini featurette. But it does have the uncut, so with it being the uncut version, it kind of just means that there is a little bit of extra dialogue at the end. It is not that different from the regular version. It genuinely is just 2 more lines at the end, and I think that's the only difference. I actually did recently order another Saw 1 DVD that has more special features, because I really, really would love to get more. Like, I would love to listen, like, have like commentary and behind the scenes stuff, because this is my favorite movie of all time. I have watched the first Saw movie, I think, about 18 times in my entire life. So far this year, I've already watched it 3 times. I promise you by the time this year is over, I will have watched it more than that. And I just absolutely love Saw. I think this is the most fascinating movie ever to me. And I absolutely love the franchise in general. To me, I would say the Saw franchise is my favorite horror movie franchise. And they're just so good. They're just all incredible. They're so fascinating. I think the characters are so, like, interesting, and the plot gets really stupid and convoluted, and it's basically a soap opera, and I don't know, it's just great. It's just fantastic. I love Saw. So next up, I have Saw 2 on DVD. This one is just the movie without any extra bonus stuff. However, I did recently order a Saw 2 DVD version with multiple behind the scenes stuff. It was actually a 2-disc thing, so hopefully that arrives like soon. I would love to see all of the behind the scenes stuff, because so for all the other ones that I have, there actually is behind the scenes stuff for all of them. It's only the first 2 that don't really have it, because I've got Saw 3, which is in the Extreme Edition. And the Extreme Edition basically means that there are a bunch of special features. There's deleted scenes, there's like a video showing the traps, like behind the scenes of the making of the traps, there's the props of Saw 3, Darren's Diary. So Darren Lynn Bousman is the director, and then there's 3 different commentaries on this. Like, that's just like, hello, there are 3 different commentaries that I can listen to for Saw free. I think that's amazing. I think that's incredible. I love learning behind the scenes stuff about Saw. And I've got Saw 4, also the Extreme Edition, which here means that there is 2 different audio commentaries. Once again, Darren's Video Diary. So Darren Lynn Bousman directed 2, 3, 4, and also Spiral. There's the traps of Saw 4, the props of Saw 4, there's the music video, and also a deleted scene. So, I actually am currently rewatching the Saw movies. I rewatched this like 2 days ago. Saw 4 was the most recent one, so I need to rewatch the rest of them now. And it's especially just really fun to rewatch the movie and then afterwards see the behind the scenes stuff. Like, it's just absolutely fascinating to see exactly how it was made, and how it all worked, and what it looked like without, you know, the green filter. And then I've also got Saw 5 Extreme Edition. So there are 2 different audio commentaries. And then it just says like the pendulum trap, the cube trap, the coffin trap, the fatal 5, and slicing the cube, editing the cube trap. So what I'm assuming is that the individual trap ones are the behind the scenes for each of the traps, and then, you know, there's a bit about editing the cube trap, which is the opening trap for 5. I actually, every time I open this up, so I got this secondhand in the UK, and so that's why there's like a little booklet here. And every time I open this up, it shows that there's a it shows me Repo the Genetic Opera, and I keep thinking I really should get Repo the Genetic Opera on DVD, because that is a movie that is like, I don't know, it's fun. It's not very good, but at the same time it's extremely enjoyable, and I like Repo the Genetic Opera. Unfortunately, I don't have Saw 6 on DVD. I did order Saw 6 on DVD as well. I also ordered the Extreme Edition. I want those bonus features for Saw 6. But I do have Saw 7. I like the DVD a lot. I think it's cool. I think Saw 7 is not that good of a movie, but I like that it has the saw blade. It also does have special features. We've got deleted and extended scenes. We got 2 different commentaries, and it just says music videos here. So I also do not have Jigsaw or Spiral on DVD. I will say, with those 2 movies, if I like stumble upon them for like not a very big price, I will definitely get them. But I'm not like itching to get Spiral and Jigsaw on DVD, because I don't like them that much. I think Jigsaw is the worst movie in the franchise. Actually, I think that after I'm finished rewatching it, I might do a video talking about like my personal ranking of each of the movies. But I personally think Jigsaw is the worst of the franchise. And Spiral, whilst I think is better than Jigsaw, I mostly just found it kind of a bit boring. And so since they don't, and like the thing is with the first 7 and also 10, is that they follow the same storyline. Jigsaw and Spiral kind of don't. Jigsaw technically tries to, but it does a terrible job, and then Spiral is like a complete reboot. So anyway, the final DVD. We got Saw 10, Saw X. This also does have special features. It has audio commentary, then illustrated scene breakdowns, makeup department trap tests, and deleted scenes. So the DVD also looks really cool for this one. So I watched Saw X in cinemas when it came out, and I just thought it was so good. Like, it was such a great experience. The only Saw movies I've seen in cinemas have been Spiral and Saw 10. And as I said, like, Spiral is not that great. So seeing Saw X in cinema was just such a great experience because I fucking love these movies, man. I'm so sad that we didn't get Saw 11, and like I know that they want to reboot the series. I kind of don't want them to do that. I kind of just want them to continue the storyline that they've already set up. Like to me, Saw is like the one franchise where they could do whatever and I would still be seated in that movie theater no matter what, you know? 'Cause, like, as I said, I went to see Spiral. I knew that it was probably wasn't going to be that good, but it was a Saw movie and I wanted to see it because I fucking love Saw. They could put anything, they could throw anything at me, and it's kind of crazy to me that Saw 11 was cancelled because Saw X was like really successful both from an audience perspective and like critically. So I don't know why they didn't just make an 11th one. Like, come on, please continue the silly ass storyline that is my entire Saw DVD collection, and that's all of my DVDs. Thank you for watching.